Hello and welcome to GPTV on Tuesday the 14th of August. My name is Philip Kingston.
And I'm Leo Samuel.
Great to have you with me as the co-anchor. We've got, this is the last week before Gary gets back from his junket. Mind you, he's probably going to come back and then go away immediately.
Yeah, that's it.
What do you think of Gary having all of these holidays, by the way?
Yeah, he's an amazing business partner, isn't he? Amazing partners we are, we should say.
He's the cleverest guy going around, if you think about it, because, you know, now we've got a number of partners at Gary Peer & Associates. We just continue to work while he flights and swans around the world. Anyway, he will be back at GPTV next Tuesday. Tell me, Leo, because I know that you film every month the Carnegie edition of GPTV, and you do that with Gary, but a lot of our viewers that just watch this one and might not be watching Carnegie, tell us a little bit about your life. Married, how many children?
I've got 3 boys.
Yep.
Married to my wife Natalie,
Yep.
Over 11 years now.
Yes.
And been in real estate since 1999, but what people don't really know is actually, as a school kid in Caufield Grammar, I always wanted to get into real estate, and as a 14-year-old riding my bike around Caufield, living in Bamba Road, I used to watch this redhead with a mullet with a double-breasted green suit named Philip Kingston do auctions.
Yes.
And
Glad we don't have a photo of that.
And yeah, wanted to get into real estate, and I've been in real estate since I've been 19, and here we are. I'm a business partner with you and Gary here in Gary Peer & Associates.
I've got to tell you, I love the story because if you think about it, I remember that, you on your bike, and like I didn't feel old, but at that time you were just this little kid on a bike, and now you're sitting on the couch. You're our business partner in our Carnegie office. You've had the most phenomenal career, and we've seen this little kid on a bike coming around cheekily watching our auctions, and we've watched you grow through your career, and now you're married to Natalie with 3 boys. What are their names?
Ashton, Hudson and Eamon. So Ashton is 10.
Yes.
Hudson is 8. And Eamon is 2, and I call them the On Brothers.
And clearly, Leo and Natalie of the generation where you don't have normal names for your children. What was wrong with Bruce and Ken and John?
Yeah, I just thought I'd mix it up a bit, you know. Philip, yeah, I'm not interested in the plain Jane. You might not like vanilla, I like the pistachio, so.
Well,
yeah.
There we are, so beautifully put. And it's been a very exciting journey, but let's fast forward to the journey since we opened the Carnegie office. One of the beautiful parts about your business in Carnegie is that you work alongside your brother Aviv.
Yeah, so it was an exciting chapter, having worked with you and Gary for nearly 12 years now, but 3.5 years ago, so March 2015, we took over an agency in Carnegie. And we rebranded as Gary Peer & Associates, and looking back after almost 3.5 years being in Carnegie on a permanent basis, we haven't looked back, and we love selling in postcode 3163, but it's been great working alongside my brother who's been there from day dot, and a few property managers who we took on from the existing agency, and It's just been great. Yeah. And yeah, the area's just really kicked on over the last few years, but we just love being there on a permanent basis.
And you've built a fantastic team there. The team is just terrific. A couple of quick things about Carnegie. The overpass.
The Sky Rail.
Yep.
Yes.
Now that it's there and it's operational, have the locals stopped complaining? Has it been as bad as they thought it would be? Has it been better?
Well, it depends on the proximity to Kooyong Road. Our office located right on the corner of Royal Street in Kooyong Road. I here at my desk is literally overlooking it.
Yes.
So, you know, for us, the blessing is that Kooyong Road flows nicely now, Philip.
Yep.
Before we always had the dinging from the boom gates, which was really annoying. And you can't do U-turns on Kooyong Road, or some people do, and they don't get caught by the police.
Yes.
But it flows nicely. But look, it is a bit of an eyesore to a point. I think to answer your question, the neighbours that have the homes backing onto it sort of more down the line of the Sky Rail have the issues from the overlooking. But look, it needed to be done, moving in the modern times. You know, if the government weren't going to do it underground, they obviously had to do it overground.
It's interesting. I'm sure it's been tested, but I wonder whether the decibels are any greater. I mean, if you had a property that's backing onto the railway line, instead of backing on, it's now elevated above you.
Yeah.
And I wonder whether the decibels are any higher or lower. Because really, what's the change?
Look, I don't think it's much. I think it's just obviously the traffic flow from those junctions where that's the main issue that they've rectified. But the decibel levels, I don't think it's not like a hybrid car that just sort of smooths past. But one thing I actually noticed is the artist impressions that the state government put out shows this beautiful sky rail, what it looks like. But there's all these cords and cabling above in the sky above it.
So don't tell me the state government has involved themselves in misleading and deceptive conduct through...
Office of Fair Trading for Victoria, but Trade Practices Act for the federal level. I think Daniel Andrews has got a bit of a problem, Mr. Dan Andrews.
So viewers, just so you know, we're under pretty strict legislation to make sure that the photos and the artist impressions that we run with do resemble the built form. So anyway, we're not saying anything, but might be an interesting exercise to have a look at those. Anyway, great to have you on the show today. Let's talk about the market and the weekend that just was. The reality is, across Melbourne, the market's struggling.
Look, definitely, it definitely changed compared to, call it 6 to 12 months ago, Philip. But look, it is a very price-sensitive market. We'll talk about some of our results in a moment, but look, it's definitely more favouring towards buyers, but sellers that are meeting the market and prepared to listen to the market based on numbers coming through and offer or expression of interest put forward to them, are still, getting traction on the day.
Yeah. So it's interesting because the auction clearance rate across Melbourne for the weekend was around 60%, which is certainly not disastrous. There have been some suburbs across Melbourne that are struggling, and I think that if there is a price range at the moment where it's harder to make sales, it's probably that $2.5 to $5 million price range. But so much of the properties, so many of the properties that we sell are really in the $1 to $2 million range, and that seems to be travelling quite well. We had 5 auctions on the weekend out of our, I think we had 14 auctions on the weekend, but 5 of them had absolute strong competition, multiple bidders, and we had an auction in Glen Ira Road on the weekend where there were 4 bidders, all well in excess of the quote range.
That's right.
And even down in Prince Edward Avenue, which was a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom townhouse, of which that architectural type, there are properties everywhere across Ormond and McKinnon. And yet we had 3 people bidding and again sold it for in excess of the quote range. So I don't know about you, Leo, but I'm finding that if a vendor has priced their property keenly, not at a low price, but if I was to sit with a vendor, and let's say the vendor was looking for $1 million, if we ran that price quote at $910 to $1 million, we're going to have good traction.
That's right.
But if we ran that price quote at $1 million to 1.1, which is on the optimistic side, we're probably going to have little traction.
That's right.
So do you think that this is a market which is very price sensitive?
I think so, and I think a lot of the vendors that have been on the market the last few months, winter, the more quieter months, have had more motivating factors to put on the market. But there's been new precedent, Phil, as you know. There's been some sales that have happened and the vendors' expectations have had to come down. But we also talk about the flip side, that it's a great time to actually upsize as well. The gap to go to that next product up, you might take less if you're selling something, but when you're looking to buy something a bit more expensive, that gap, that margin is definitely more achievable now. So I think that traction is really out there. But look, the price point, yes, it is very sensitive, and with us, within the sort of our medium price range that we always pitch, we always quote a range, things are selling more within the range as opposed to the mindset, which was always 10% over the top end of a range.
Interesting point that you make. So if you're a buyer, and if you're an active buyer at the moment, every active buyer now understands the SOI, which is the Statement of Information. And if you're not an active buyer, viewers, and you're watching the show at the moment and wondering what an SOI is, every property that is listed online and every open for inspection you go to, there is a statement called a Statement of Information where the property must have a price range that is no greater than 10% or a single price. So if you go back 2 years ago, whatever price quote an agent gave, it generally sold for well in excess of the top end of that quote range. But what you're saying, and I agree with you, is that most properties now are selling within the Statement of Information price guide.
And look, it's a good measure that's put forward to the state government. It also covers, more of that top-end homes that had the contact agent price on application. The agents can't hide from it now. So as you said on realestate.com or domain.com or any website, there is a section where you click on Statement of Information. The agent is duty-bound to give that 10% range or single figure and provide the 3 sales within this last 6 months within a 2K radius. Or if they can't find any at all, they put that they can't find anything. That's the agent believes it's not comparable. But look, it's a bit more transparent. But in terms of pricing, I think it's within the range more so. But going back towards the buyer cycle, some buyers go, well, what's it really going to sell for? Well, I had one the other day in college where some buyers asking me, where's it in terms of pricing and what's the vendor wanting? And I said, well, ultimately, the vendors want to see bidding on the day. But if you don't bid, well, they're not sure what they're going to do anyway. Even though we start an auction with a reserve price, vendors want to listen to the market, but as you know, buyers that are really keen and avid to get into the market, best to put your hand up and bid and have the first right and exclusive right to buy the property.
Interesting point that you make, because in order for us to encourage a vendor to sell, they need to see bidding.
True.
And yet so many buyers come to auctions and they think, well, if no one's bidding, I'm not going to bid. So you get this,
or it's worth nothing. Some buyers think, oh, it's not worth anything, no one's bid, but they don't realise they've actually responded to a range of 9 to 990. You know, obviously, or even if a private sale, if something's $1,050,000 and you've come to an open for inspection with an asking price at $1,050,000, it's obviously been on your radar.
Yes.
It doesn't mean it's worth nothing if no one's offered.
So viewers, if you're a buyer, if you come along to a Gary Peer and Associates auction and you put your hand up, it is more likely to stimulate the vendor to put the property on the market and transact. But if you stand there with your hands in your pocket refusing to do anything, it's just we get an auction stalemate or an auction catch-22 where the seller won't sell if the buyer won't bid.
Well, like the finishing line's not even close to being reached. So really, it's not. They're not the vendor's mindset. We'll wait a bit longer. But if there's some traction and there's some bidding, they've got someone to play ball with, and most likely, with vendors usually in this market, they potentially meet the market and they're prepared to adjust off their hope and wish price to be more realistic in the market.
Yeah. Also, viewers, this is a great time to be a buyer because there is a window of opportunity at the moment. It's been a seller's market really since 2012. The market's been going up progressively. The market has taken a pause. But this is a great buying opportunity because no one rings a bell at the top or the bottom of the market and says, we're at the bottom or we're at the top. But for the first time, buyers have been able to buy into the market at a price that's not a premium anymore. So I'm saying to a lot of our buyers at auctions, and as recently as across the weekend, I had a young couple bidding on a property, and when I passed it into them, they said, well, there's no one else that's here to buy it. And I said, well, you can either take an opportunity right here, right now, knowing that you don't have competition.
That's right.
Or you can wait a couple of days where we will get some competition, and we always do, and then I can ring you and you can bid against somebody else.
And you deal with pressure as well.
Correct. Or you can take the opportunity of jumping into the market and securing an opportunity without somebody breathing down your neck, pushing you up. A great time to be a buyer.
And I think also, Philip, real estate, property market, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint game. And I think here, like the share market as well, no one's ever going to pick the bottom of a share to buy low. If you see value, go for it if it's a long-term proposition here, because ultimately, if you see value, go for it. But to wait, think it's going to drop even more so. But if you're in it for the long haul, go for it if it represents
I think
value.
also too in our areas, Leo, that there is not 20 houses that are exactly the same, that if you say, look, I'll miss this one because I'll play my game, I'll miss that one, but I'll buy the next one. The reality is, if you're buying for the long haul, and property is a long-term acquisition, if you buy for the long haul, you don't want to miss the house.
That's right.
Because you were being too clever on price or you were being too pessimistic on price. Speaking of pessimism, optimism, let's have a look at a couple of the results from the weekend.
Sure.
All right, Leo, let's talk about number 13 Imperial Avenue. I was lucky enough to do that auction. It was handled by Lillimur from our St Kilda office. We had a price quote there of $1,160,000 to $1,275,000, and we sold it for
$1,352,500. 4 bidders, I believe, went for that one,
which was well over the statement of information. Competitive auction there. So as I've said, there is optimism, and you can be pessimistic if you like, but we can draw your attention, viewers, to many competitive auctions. We talked about Prince Edward Avenue. We had a single figure there, interestingly enough, which was $1,050,000, but we smashed that at $1,100,000.
Once again, 3 bidders competing for that one.
Yeah. I want to talk about a property that we had at number 53 Ormond Street. We had a big crowd on that. There was an auction that we had to do inside because it was pretty miserable on Sunday at the time that I did that auction. Anyway, we're thinking that we would sell that somewhere in excess of 2. We sold that for $2,150,000 to a lovely family. I know they'll be very happy there because it is a great family home. Tell us about your College Street auction.
Yeah, so College Street was a great campaign. We had a bit of a great run recently. We saw one in Begonia Road.
Yes.
A week before last, we covered off on the one in Oswald Street.
Yep.
Just showing how proactive we are as an agency. I had 3 bidders in this one in College Street competing for it. It was pretty much a non-referral auction, Philip.
Yes.
So we had 3 bidders competitively, very aggressively into that high 1.2s.
Yes.
Eventual selling price was $1,310,000, but the interesting part, as an agency, the two underbidders from the College Street auction actually had bid on the other one in Begonia Road and Oswald.
Wow.
And my brother and myself, we got onto these buyers, bought them through, and we created competition.
Fantastic.
And it worked really well.
Terrific. This has got nothing to do with anything we're talking about, but I do want to have a bit of a shout out. August for me, by the way, is a very expensive month, so thank you for making some sales, because I need to pay for August, all of the celebrations that I've got going on in my life in August. A very expensive month. Shout out to my father, who on Friday night, the 10th of August, had his birthday.
Same as my father-in-law, Julian Goldstone.
Oh, they should do a joint party next year. So that was on Friday. Then on Monday, yesterday, my mother, on the 13th of August, it was her birthday. So once again, had to celebrate that, and it was lovely. And went to Bistro Thierry and had a great steak there. For those of you
Pomme
that
de
haven't.
frites or champignon?
Filet
mignon.
I tell you what, that is extraordinary French. Anyway, so that was the 13th.
He got the English menu, not the French, like the French writing in the English. He asked for the one with just the English.
I've got my...
It's like you go to the Asian restaurants and you ask for the fork instead of the chopsticks. Yeah, Philip, is that why you one of those
No,
type?
I'm good with chopsticks. I've got my son's birthday on the 20th of August. So shout out to Jacob in anticipation of your birthday on the 20th. And then on the 28th of August, and I won't be here on that day because I will be in Bali with my wife celebrating our 30th wedding anniversary. Can you believe she's put up with me for 30 years?
Unbelievable.
So a special shout out to Irene. As I said, this has got nothing to do with
Well, while we're
this
covering
real
off on
estate
this
show.
birthday edition, let me just throw a couple other birthdays.
the
My
birthday
wife,
edition.
Natalie Samuel, 4th of August as well.
Yes.
And the other one I'd like to cover off on is my brother Viv Samuel, the 19th of August. So the Leos are out there in force for August, and what a month it is.
It is. So let's get back to real estate and talk about the weekend that's coming up, because we just looked at the list before and we realised we've got a big auction weekend, and I'm leaning over here to grab the list. 15 auctions this weekend, so it's going to be an action-packed auction weekend. I'm got the day off on Saturday, but you are going to be going hell for leather on the weekend. So let's talk about the auctions. First up on Saturday morning, your Jeremy Rosens is going to be in Ashwood at 18 Heather Avenue. Tell us about that.
So Ashwood, Heather Avenue, it's a great land opportunity there, 590 square metres of proximate prime Ashwood land, potential dual occupancy site, or potentially even a new home, Philip. Should go well, expecting interest between that sort of 9 to 990 range. I think it should go well according to Jeremy.
So while Jeremy's doing that, Gary will be back on the real estate auction hustings at 10:30. He'll be selling apartment number 2 at 434 Kooyong Road. Let's just hope for the poor vendor of that property that Gary remembers how to conduct an auction. But that's being handled by Joel Sir. Tell us about that.
Yeah, 2-bedroom residence there. It should go really well. It's on the cusp of Elsternwick and Caufield South, that pocket of Kooyong Road there. Yep. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. Yeah, check that one. Great first home or investment opportunity.
I like that property. It was designed and built by 94 Feet, a really good property developer. Over in your hood, you're going to be bouncing the ball also at 10:30. So we've got 3 10:30 auctions, and that's at 5 at 70 Trigonini Road in Carnegie. You're the auctioneer and been handling this property.
Yeah, it's been great offering to the market. That's a townhouse, 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms in a subdivision of 5. We sold unit 4 in that subdivision recently. Great opportunity for a first home buyer or investor. But yeah, love those townhouses. Right where the 67 tram ends, on the cusp, not far away from the Carnegie Primary School as well. Should go really well that
You're
one.
going to move from Truganini to Neville, home number 2 at 12 Neville Street at 11:30 with Jack Slater, who is handling the property with you.
Fantastic town residence here, 4 bedrooms, plenty of accommodation in terms of living spaces as well. It's got 2 bathrooms, 2 car parks. And yeah, if you're looking for something in terms of modern fit out with plenty of space and natural light, check this one out.
Yeah, terrific. Leon Gusenfitter together with Gary are going to be auctioning number 24 Yorla Street in Bentley at 11:30.
Yorla Street, also a great pocket off Thomas Street there. Another land opportunity, and those 1950s cream brick homes have done really well over time, but I believe this one's been more looked at as land, Philip. 569 square metres. Get your hands on that one if you're looking for a little bit of a project.
And we're moving from there to 12:30 to 1 at 62 Lillimur Road in Ormond. Leon Gusenfitter and Gary Peer.
Yeah, fantastic period home on a subdivided block there, and yeah, the numbers been coming through that one is unbelievable.
Gorgeous facade, I'm not surprised.
Right near Kilvington, the school and the newly refurbished Ormond train station, but a fabulous offering, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, plenty of outdoor space as well as car parking too.
Moving to the St Kilda Hood, we've got apartment number 9 at 26 Wellington Street, handled by Michael Jonas and auctioned by Jeremy Rosens.
Yeah, in a modern complex, a lovely 2-bedroom apartment, close to all the action, Chapel Street, Fitzroy Street. Check that one out for a great opportunity.
Great spot there. At 1:30, we're at apartment number 21 at 181 Power Street in Hawthorn. You've got the auction honours, working with your brother there in all the way in Hawthorn.
Yeah, so we're selling not just in the Glen Eira region, as we all know, Power Street, Hawthorn. This apartment in 1970s construction, built the old-fashioned way out of solid brick, 2 bedrooms, nestled at the back of the block. It's going to go really well, I believe, this one.
Well, that's a Saturday wrap. We've got a big Sunday, and I might have had Saturday off, Lior, but I'm going to bounce the ball 6 times on Sunday, so I'm going to have a busy day. I come out of the blocks a Saturday morning after a big breakfast that I'm going to have. 10:30, 189 Bamborough Road in Caufield South. Jeremy Rosens is the handler, and I'm the auctioneer.
I'm a big fan for Bamborough Road, having lived there. My parents still live in Bamborough Road, but yeah, great pocket of Caufield South. This is a great family home, 3 to 4 bedrooms, solid brick. Great family accommodation in terms of living spaces, should go well as well.
I'm going to move on from there to 667B Inkerman Road in Caufield North, where Darren and his team have been handling the property. I'm going to talk about that one because I love it, and I've done the video tour there. That is the most stunning and immaculate and feels like a brand new home. Congratulations to the vendors who've looked after this property.
And we know the developer have done a lot for this developer in time and always built really good products.
He has 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, lock-up garage and another car space. I'm looking forward to that property. At 12:30, I'm moving on to 77 Alexandra Street in St Kilda East on the corner of Alma Road. Nikki Janover and Lillimur have been handling that property. Tell me about that property.
Yeah, 3-bedroom period home in a highly desired area of East St Kilda, close to Carlisle Street shops and all the action of Chapel Street as well. 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 car. Yeah, a great opportunity, something to refurbish in time or live in as is.
At 12:30, Michael Jonas has been handling a property, and Jeremy Rosens is going to be auctioning 24A Bealiba Road. I want to shout out here to Amnon Weber, one of the area's best architects. This is one of his projects from about 4 years ago. Stunning property.
Yeah, and look, this property hasn't aged at all in terms of even being 4 years old, but it went really well. Like last time we marketed it for sale, went really, really well. But in terms of open space, Amnon always creates the amazing masterpieces with the use of space that he's got. But yeah, fantastic landscape gardens, great accommodation, 3 bedrooms and 3.5 bathrooms, and a double garage, which is very good too.
It's a beautiful property, that one. We get to move on. I'm going to be with you at 1:30 at home number 1 at 30 Bamborough Road. That's at 1:30.
1:30, yeah. One at 30 Bamborough Road, Caufield North. I've been marketing this property alongside Nikki Janover. We've been a big avid fans of selling the mid-century homes for years. This 1970s home, one of 3 on the block, is unbelievable. And our vendor, who's been on the circuit for many years looking at all the 1970s, 60s homes in the area, recently bought. Unfortunately, it wasn't in our area, but yeah, the furniture here, just if you want to see just an amazing presentation, check this one. But yeah,
he's very astute, and if anybody knows about mid-century homes, it's that vendor, so good luck to him. At 2:30, I move on with Ben Eisner to home number 2 at 43 Wanda Road.
Yeah, so these solid brick apartments or homes built in the late 1960s, unbelievable housing proportions, what you've got here as well. You've got 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, Philip, and a most amazing living dining space as well as a separate kitchen, but built the old-fashioned way, and it's massive, this type of home. It is a
stunning property, so we do love those homes, and the location there is second to none. I'm looking forward at 3:30 to auctioning number 23 Howard Road, which is a parcel of land on the west side of 1,091 square metres. Now, viewers, if you're in the market for a luxury home site, it doesn't get any better than Howard Road, and secondly, it's on the west side of the street, which is the preferred orientation, and thirdly, this is about one of the last opportunities in the heart of the Golden Mile to get a premier home site, so I am looking forward to that. So a big weekend. You're going to be busy, I'm going to be busy. Good to have Gary back out and about, and certainly we look forward to putting him through the paces. Where we are at the moment though, Lior, is the most stunning home, number 2 Brentani Avenue in Elsternwick. Congratulations to the vendors who bought a block of land and then built this incredible house, and it feels very much like brand new. In fact, viewers, if you're looking for a brand new home, you can buy this one because in essence there's not a chip or scratch. It is a massive 5 beautiful bedrooms, 3 completely stunning bathrooms. It has everything that opens and shuts, a double lock-up garage of course. This kitchen meals family room where we've shot GPTV today looks over the private back garden, the swimming pool, the alfresco terrace. The owners have really done the most beautiful job, because if you were building a brand new house today, Lior, you'd try to build this, wouldn't you?
No, this is the standard that you'd want to meet, but the specifications is unbelievable. But just even the floor to ceiling windows as well, no expense spared here. But in terms of family accommodation, you can't go wrong with this one.
And the timber floors in this back room are stunning. This one goes to auction on Sunday the 2nd of September, and I do have the auction honours, so I'm pretty excited about that. Lior, great to have you hosting GPTV. I always love working with you because your energy, your enthusiasm and your passion for this job makes you stand out above just about most agents right across Melbourne. It is a job that if you love it, it's easy, isn't it?
Definitely. And look, it's as I said, I got into real estate as a youngster. You look a bit different now without your orange mullet, but I can tell you what, you're pretty sharp in the suits. But yes, we are passionate property people, and as they say, if you love what you do, it's that's what makes it even more so fun, and you don't consider it work. But yeah, we love what we do, even though the market may be a bit different now, but there's always something to do.
Viewers, come and have a coffee across our 15 auctions this weekend. We're going to be out there doing what we love. Come along, say hello, and if you insist on buying a property, that's okay too. If not, just come and have a free coffee. I'm Philip Kingston. Thanks for watching the show.
And I'm Lior Samuel. Have a fantastic day.
Have a wonderful week.